Billboard has dropped its annual year-end charts, and that includes the year-end Hot Country Songs chart, which is the top 100 songs in country music. They got their algorithm that takes into account streaming and radio play and digital sales, and they put together this top 100 songs. And as I do every year, I'm going to look at the top 10 best hit country songs. Keep in mind, these are only hit songs. Everything on this list has to come from that chart, so just save it if you're like a Tyler Childers fan that wants to comment, get a grip. I feel like it's only appropriate to complain if you're like a super stan of Fancy Like or You Time by Scotty McCreery. When it comes to what did make the chart, number 1 was Forever After All by Luke Combs, then Fancy Like, then I Hope by Gabby Barrett, Better Together by Luke Combs, so that's 2 in the top 5, and then Famous Friends, which was a real smash for Chris Young and Kane Brown. There was also some super surprises on the chart. There was like a Black Bear collab with Kane Brown, Kelly Clarkson and Brett Eldridge snuck in there with a Christmas collab Under the Mistletoe. You had Dick Down in Dallas by Trey Lewis, Ride the Lightning by Warren Zaders, who's a huge TikTok breakout star. And then you had like half of Morgan Wallen's Dangerous, which just was streamed so much that not only was it the biggest album overall of the year, but like all the songs ended up on this chart too. Still, I'm gonna do what I always do and just include one song per artist on this list just to spread the love some. And as always, keep in mind, it's just my opinion. You got yours, and that's awesome. Let's get into it. At number 10, it's Things a Man Ought to Know by Lainey Wilson.
Yeah, I know a few things a man ought to know.
Lainey Wilson's one of a number of newish women on the country scene that have really had a breakout couple years, whether that's Gabby Barrett or Tennille Arts, Ingrid Andress. Carly Pierce has kind of reached that next level along with Ashley McBride. This song is a ballad, and in it Lainey Wilson is singing about how she knows how to do some things that you might traditionally associate with guys, whether that's catch a fish or hang a picture or hitch a trailer. But in the chorus, she veers into maybe a little light scorn of an ex-man in her life and says she knows how to stay when it's tough and how to hold on to a woman, and she knows some things that a man ought to know. And in that way, she's kind of saying like, gosh, I wish this guy had demonstrated more commitment. And that's a really sad concept that I think the production mimics. It's really kind of open, and she sings with such a resolute twang, and it just feels super country. Her album's really good, and I like it. At number 9 is Buy Dirt by Jordan Davis featuring Luke Bryan.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
This song is one of those old man sharing his life wisdom type songs that country music is known for. And in it, Jordan Davis is singing about what you should do with your money. You know, you should buy some land. You should get a ring and marry that girl. You should throw some in the offering plate, raise up a whole family. And it's just kind of a here's how to live a purposeful life song. And maybe a light roast of the World Economic Forum in saying that, you know, home ownership is important. I love the combination of producer Paul DiGiovanni along with Jordan Davis. They make country music that sounds really like anthemic to me. And I feel like even for such a light song, this has a gravitas about it. And from a writing standpoint, I really love a few of the details in this song, especially the pencil marks, which are how you measure the height of your kids and how he's watching them grow up along with the grass. I'd probably have this song up higher, but I feel like it's a really unnecessary duet. And this is not me shading Luke Bryan. I've actually kind of enjoyed this era of Luke Bryan's career more than the standard one that I typically post about. But I just feel like it's a really weird duet. There's no conversation happening between them. Luke isn't performing as the older man, and it's just two singers singing a singular storyline, which to me is kind of odd. But when the biggest act in country music wants to be on your song and you're an up-and-coming artist, I feel like you just do it. At number 8 is a song that I think makes a lot more sense as a duet, and it's Thinking About You by Dustin Lynch featuring Mackenzie Porter.
I was just thinking about that weekend out of Cumberland.
Yes, after the great Instagram feud of 2021 between Dustin Lynch and myself, he's still on my list. In case you missed it, I posted a little meme on my Instagram about being a music snob, and it had my mythical Aunt Darlene coming up to tell me about how she loves riding roads.
I saw it and I really enjoyed it.
Really?
I did.
That's so good.
Look, it's
And I don't know who snitch tagged on me because I didn't tag anybody in that, but Dustin Lynch posted that to his story and then posted his own meme of me being like a bescarfed, snobby hipster dude, and then people at his concert kind of having fun. It's essentially just saying, scoreboard, I have cool fans. And I mean, honestly, it's making the same joke I was making, which is that I'm a music snob. And so cool, all is fair in love and war. But As I even said in my Tullahoma review, I have always loved this song, Thinking About You. Originally, it was a duet with Lauren Elena, but I think because she had one beer with Hardy and then her own song, Getting Over Him, with John Party, it just didn't make sense to have a third song on the radio, so they swapped her out for Mackenzie Porter. And I think two things really make this song stand out to me. The writing on it has so many proper nouns. It has these memories that take place in locations like Cumberland Lake and that weekend in Baton Rouge. And there's this moment where he runs into her sister at the Circle K and hears about how there's a baby on the way. It just feels like, oh, this is an actual person that is living out these lyrics. But I also think the delivery on this song is low-key awesome. I think both Dustin and Mackenzie have a certain airiness to their vocals. They kind of lilt a little bit at the end of some of their phrases.
It's good to hear from you again.
And it just feels flirtatious and sweet, and it just really works, as does the kind of call and response duet factor. This song I thought was by far the best song on that album. I'm glad to see it become a single. And even if Riding Roads is just not for me, this song kind of is. Number 7, it's You Should Probably Leave by Chris Stapleton. This song is basically Honey, I'm Good if at the end of Honey, I'm Good, he actually decides to go home with the girl at the club. The whole first 2/3 of the song is Chris saying to this woman, you should probably leave because we've done this before and we both know where this goes, but it's got this kind of naughty, sexy groove with the guitar strokes on the upbeat, and it's just so slick and cool, whereas Chris Stapleton usually smacks you in the face with a power vocal. This is really a groove. And I just love this one really simple lyric in this that says, you want me to say that I want you to stay, so you should probably leave. This song is all about those conflicting intentions. And then in the end, we wake up and the sun is on them in bed and he's just sitting there scared that she's gonna say that he should probably leave because maybe they like this little thing. But man, this song's just sexy, groovy, cool, different for Stapleton. And it was such a sleeper on Starting Over, and I love that it became a sleeper hit this year because now I hear this song all the time. Number 6 is Give Heaven Some Hell by Hardy.
Till then, give heaven some hell.
Much like a lot of songs on Hardy's debut full-length album, A Rock, that came out last year, Give Heaven Some Hell is way deeper than you might expect. This is a song about a country boy that has passed away, and Hardy's kind of imagining what heaven might be like for him. Instead of driving down a dirt road, he's going down golden streets, and he's got a mansion, but it's in the sky with a 10-acre field. Even if that's a touch silly, I think it's an incredibly poetic concept that has a lot of heart, and that cuts through the kind of bigger, blaring, Joey Moy production. That makes it so well balanced, and I wish there was a little more of that heart on stuff like Hicks Tape 2 that we got this year. But yeah, this song sneaks up on you and suddenly you're tearing up and you don't even know what's happening. Okay, confession, I've made a mistake.
It's hard to talk about failure, isn't it?
I'm at number 5, but I realized I hadn't actually clarified which song was number 5, and I had 2 different options here between The Good Ones by Gabby Barrett.
He's a phone call to his parents. He's a Bible by the bed.
Because I'm obsessed with the kind of climbing and descending melody of the verses on that song. And Cold as You by Luke Combs.
On an old bar stool, drinking beer almost as cold as you.
Because I really liked that it was just kind of different from the sort of ballad moment of love songs, first year of marriage that we've been in with Luke Combs. Here we are, I have made a mistake.
What are you going to do about it?
And so I'm just going to table both of those and feature someone I haven't talked about on the channel instead, LV Shane and My Boy.
Yeah, he's my son and that's my choice. He ain't my blood.
This song is on here, perhaps accidentally, perhaps it should have been further back on the list, whatever. But it was in the mix just because it's a great concept for a song. It is about a man claiming a stepson as his own son, or an adopted son as his own son. Even if he's not my blood, he's still my boy. And it kind of reminds me of Brad Paisley's early single, The Man He Didn't Have to Be. And I don't even think that this song necessarily has the craziest lyrics. It's pretty simple. It's a pretty straightforward story he's telling, but the content of it is so rich. And I love that country music goes into unconventional territory that you're not necessarily going to hear in a pop song. Love songs are dime a dozen, but stepfather songs, I feel like we get them once every 20 years. I think LV Shane's got a cool kind of edge to his voice, and he delivers this with a ton of conviction that sells the song well. Number 4 is Miranda Lambert's Settling Down.
Am I settling up, settling down?
If there's a concept that I really love and tend to gravitate to in the country artists that I'm obsessed with. It's duality. It's when there is this kind of conflicted soul, someone that wants to be out on the road, but someone that wants to kind of have roots and a family as well. That's why I love Eric Church. He's so divided between this wild guy inside of him and this family man. Same with a lot of the music from Cody Jinks, same with Dierks Bentley, and on this song, definitely the same with Miranda Lambert. She can't figure out if settling down and committing to a home and a man and just like a quieter life is actually settling up. She's like, am I settling up or am I settling down? And she's just describing the two wolves inside of her that are competing. She describes herself as a homing pigeon, a bird that is known for just flying right back to home, but then a wild child, someone that wants to escape. She even asks if happiness is going to be found on the highway or in a driveway. And so she is just struggling with domesticity versus like the energy of going out and being a performer. And I think musicians have wrestled with that for forever, you know, like going back to Willie Nelson with On the Road Again.
And I can't wait to get on the road again.
All the production choices on Miranda Lambert's Wild Card, they didn't hit for me at first, that Jake Joyce production. I think they definitely made the album feel a little bit less intimate, but definitely when you hear the songs on their own, they have a lot more punch than some of the Miranda records that I have listened to in the past. And so I think it really works as a single. Miranda's just cool. She's just such a badass and one of my favorite artists ever. Before we get into the top three, a couple honorable mentions. I suppose Luke Combs's Cold As You and Gabby Barrett's The Good Ones have already been mentioned. But other songs that were kind of in the mix were Next Girl by Carly Pearce. I really love this song and it's kind of sass. We had Half of My Hometown by Kelsey Ballerini and Kenny Chesney. I think it's a pretty song and it describes accurately how in a lot of small towns in America, half the people seem to want to get out and half of them are content to stay. I had Made For You by Jake Owen. Jake Owen continues to kind of fly just under the radar, but still rack up a lot of hits, and I think this one was really heartfelt and pretty. Breaking Up Was Easy in the 90s by Sam Hunt. I think that's a really cool song. Not only is it about a breakup, but it also kind of is this lament about modern technology and how you can't actually get away from bad parts of your past. It works better than it should, and that song has a kind of, it's very Shane McAnally. That dude's a master of kind of crafting the vibe of longing. And then I also had Country Again by Thomas Rhett, and even though that was not his most popular album, it's certainly my favorite from him, and I think a lot of it, like that title track, it's really substantive and shows off some great instrumentation and strong songwriting. Number 3 is Sand in My Boots by Morgan Wallen.
With some sand in my boots.
This song won a bunch of awards in the Country Music Stuff Awards that was kind of voted on by the subreddit in my last video, and thank you guys for participating in that. But I totally agree with the hype for this song. I just think it's so beautiful, and it really does show off Morgan's vocal chops, which I think in the discussion of Morgan Wallen is often left out, that he has an unusual and powerful, raspy voice. A lot of people have compared this song to Anything But Mine by Kenny Chesney, and I totally hear that.
And in the morning I'm leaving.
And they both share a similar anthemic quality in the chorus. I think coming in on that high note of just, now I'm dodging potholes in my sunburned Silverado.
Yeah, but now I'm dodging potholes in my sunburned Silverado.
And you kind of like fall from there. It just kind of stops you in your tracks when it's just with the piano, and other people knew it. Like Luke Bryan wanted this song, and Hardy, who was one of the co-writers on it, actually said like, no, I said Morgan could have it. And so, you know, Luke's got a good ear. He knew that this would be a smash. And I love how from a writing standpoint, he's in this kind of dreamy beachscape where he's leaving his Red Wings on the beach and just chasing after this girl. And then it's so pitiful, like a sunburnt Silverado with potholes and sand in his boots in the chorus. That contrast is super effective, and it kind of portrays the wistful heartbreak. I was this close to making 865 my Morgan Wallen song on this though, but I feel like this is like the hit of them, but 865, that's my jam on Dangerous. At number 2, I'm going Whiskey and Rain by Michael Ray.
Yeah, whiskey and rain coming down, coming down.
This song is a neo-traditional jam. I think it has everything I want in fresh, radio friendly, modern, but still a little bit traditional country production. You got a ton of steel in there. You got those deep tenor guitar sounds all going through it. You got a forlorn lyric of this guy feeling like a failure after a relationship. And it's interesting to hear Carly Pearce and Michael Ray, who they got divorced, and both of them have come out with great music since then. But just when he's feeling his most sad, you get this kind of fiddle whining as it comes in behind him.
Whiskey in the rain, coming down, splash a bird.
This song was such a grower for me. Like, I heard it and I thought it was good, and then I just kept hearing it and I was like, man, this song is great. And it kind of reminds me of John Party in that it feels so fresh, but it still feels distinctly country and bringing in all those instruments we love. It definitely reminds me a little bit of Gary Allan's songs about rain. Maybe I'm just getting that kind of rainy vibe in there. But it definitely made me take a second look at Michael Ray and kind of think, man, maybe there's more to what this guy wants to say musically than just being a sort of pouty, tattooed, muscled bro that, you know, I feel like people's original promo pictures can really stick with you. And I was just maybe not taking him as seriously as I should have. But my number one hit country song for 2021 is Memory I Don't Mess With by Lee Brice.
It's a memory I don't mess with. The girl I was the best.
This song completely snuck up on me. I had heard it a couple times, didn't think much of it, and then just one day I was in the car, it came on, and I was like, damn, this guy is singing this song so well. And I started to get that same kind of groovy feeling that I talked about on You Should Probably Leave. And then I liked how he syncopated the delivery on
Springsteen on the speakers, girl, I'm on fire.
And I was like, what is this song about this dude not wanting to go back to this memory? Because the sound of it is kind of romantic, but the lyrics are really painful. It's like 7 Summers by Morgan Wallen in that way. And especially in the back half of the song, Lee Brice starts showing off his vocals and he just starts modulating in places I wouldn't expect. And there's just a really gorgeous up and down melodic curve to this song. And all around, it works. And it's interesting because Lee Brice is like the ultimate. I did one of those videos of country stars that somehow aren't super famous but have a lot of hits, and I talked about people like Josh Turner that just every couple years he has a hit, but he's not necessarily winning all these big awards. He's not on the cover of People magazine like Blake Shelton. I feel like Lee Brice is the ultimate example of that. Everything from I Drive Your Truck to Rumor to now Memory I Don't Mess With, he's just racking up hits quietly, but I really don't think like we're paying that much attention. And I was looking at last year's list, my 2020 list, and he was on top with Carly Pearce with I Hope You're Happy Now. So maybe I'm becoming a Lee Brice stan, and I didn't even know it, but I'm liking his choices, at least the single choices. I don't think I've even listened to that album. But that's just me, and I'm wondering what your favorites of this year were. So let me know in the comments down below. And if you were hoping for a more kind of independent vibe, stick around, you won't be disappointed. That's coming.